Here we go. How's everyone today? It's a Sunday, and how you going, Brett?
How you going, Mark? Hello, all.
You know, what can I tell you? It was just, a crazy day today, you know, like going out and running down and getting a table from IKEA and just running all the way back up again and building it all. It was a construction site here. Yeah. What about you?
Well, it sounds like you didn't even finish it off. You still got the original desk that you're still sitting at.
Well, I'm still sitting at the original desk because there's just a lot of, you know, all that stuff that's happening in the background. You know, there's going to be cabling and stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
So, how you going, guys? Who have we got here? We've got Lauren here, we've got Michelle here. So the first blues bits are coming in, and everyone is sort of like, people are starting to get the idea that it's good music.
Turn the music down a bit, mate.
Oh, damn, the music again. Sorry, guys, I'm blowing everyone's ears out.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh, God. Okay, how's that now? You know, I just thought that the music is so beautiful that I just keep on continuing what we're doing.
That's better. Now that I got the playback going, and I need to check
about
on
that because I just can't check the audio level. I mean, all I've got is that the slider here, and I can. So I hope that's better. I need people to scream at me.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes for you guys, by the way, if you are in the chat, if you got a question or something is important, just put the at Mark Faust or at Brett Harris. You know, if you do the at sign, that will actually be highlighted. Then we can see that. Then
that's like
just a trick.
Shouting out at us.
Shouting out at us. Yeah, so then it will be it'll be highlighted and we can actually see it a lot easier. But so it looks like Lauren has just got home and
a cat at Norda.
Yep.
Typical cat.
Bloody cat's always running away. Yep. Sorry about the music, guys, and Michelle. Cats are cats. That's all. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we've got a full house happening here today. We've got a lot of things. We've got great images to be reviewed, and you know, a good beer to be drunk, you know, as well. So what can I tell you there, Brett?
Same
it's
here.
Beer o'clock for me. I'm just having one, and that's it. But
I won't mention what I'm drinking. I don't think we're allowed to show these sort of things.
Yeah, that's Pepsi, right? I mean, there's nothing else about that. Well, we all know we're all adults.
It's getting quite warm in Queensland. Summer and spring is hit. Well, not summer yet, but spring is hit, so it's warming up. So yeah,
absolutely. But it's just it's a great time to be around. You know, you sort of feel the the sun is hitting on the screen, on the windscreen again, and it's all warming up. And I think it's also going to be a hot summer this summer. So we're just on the verge of school holidays now. So Monday is the first day of school holidays.
Tell me about it. I know that. I've been looking. I've been looking after my own kid and another kid the last 2 days, taking them to parks. We went up to Toowoomba to the Carnival of Flowers yesterday. My God, it was
the Carnival of Flowers. Yeah, that's
packed. And you couldn't find a car park anywhere to get into any of the parks for them to go for a ride and everything. Yeah. So
and Bill is showing in as well. How you going, Bill?
Hey, Bill. How you going? Haven't seen you.
Hope all your assignments are coming along all right, and it's good to see you coming in.
Yes, Michelle. I'm just trying to answer Michelle's question. Was it worth looking at? Yes. All the areas, like I didn't get into Queen's Park, the main Queen's Park of Toowoomba, where obviously there's a huge amount of people. They obviously had all the, remember Shannon's ship things and that? They're back. You know, the world's best ships and stuff, and all of those sort of people. flowers were fantastic. We went up to Picnic Point where it was less crowded. Everything's blooming, and it's really good. So
That's really interesting. Yeah. So it's maybe I should head down your way and actually check all the flowers out and the sunflowers especially.
If anybody's going to look at all the flower shows around Toowoomba at this point in time, because they obviously have flower competitions and that, it's worthwhile to drive out to Laurelbank Park. Awesome flower garden, and they actually there's a setup where they do these displays, and you can walk up these set of stairs and look up down on the garden, and you'll see patterns and pictures and stuff that's made from flowers. So that's another worth looking, going to have a look at those sort of things as well.
Yeah, and Bill was just saying 20 degrees already feels warm, so it's because he's down in Melbourne, everything is the temperature, I mean it's a different kind of temperature down in Melbourne, for sure.
Yeah.
And they often enough hit 40s, and there was a time when I was down in Melbourne and I would cross the road and I would lift up all the tar would be on my thongs. So, I promised a friend to take her there, so there you go, Brett.
And you've been doing a bit of photography around lately, Mark, and all that. You've been going out and...
Well, yeah, I mean, I went up to the Sunshine Coast and we had a bit of a shoot and all that, and it was really interesting. But, I mean, I always wish that I would take more pictures and had more time to do it. But it was just a zen out time, just to relax. Okay, so how about we go into start our live show? We've already been, we're already in it for a bit now, and we'll be right back, guys, with a full-on show, and we'll
get stuck into it.
Start talking turkey. There's a lot of news and a lot of reviews to do as well. So. And here we go. How's everyone going? The show proper now, and finally we are back again. It's Sunday, guys. How do you think the jump has been? Like, what did you get up to, Brett? Tell me. Tell us a story.
Taking kids out and letting them have fun and playgrounds and stuff.
It's only the beginning. It's only the beginning of the school holidays.
and I'm still wishing that I still had my A4 A7R4 and the 200 600 because I'm missing out a lot of good shots. Damn it! But no, other than that, no, it is school holidays and yeah, be a bit more relaxing and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah. Look,
And
I
what
mean,
about you?
there's a whole heap of people here. I should maybe mention just Bill, hello, and Lauren, and we've got Michelle here as well, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are still going to come in and say hello. They're all sort of just a bit maybe lagging behind a little bit, or just waiting for the show proper to start, and people will then chime in. But yeah, myself, I went out today and had to go out and get myself a larger computer table because the table I'm sitting on right now is just it's getting too yeah, things are getting too tight. There's not enough room here. I need more room.
You just got too much technical stuff on that table, mate.
It's crazy, but the other table is massive. It's a dining table. It's not really actually an office table, but oh my god, like it's going to make a big difference to my workflow. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I can actually have maybe 2 or 3 different stations where I can work from. Computer stations. So
yeah.
The live show and all this happening on one side, and I can do my work on the other side. So it's going to be interesting.
Michelle just said, my muscles are still screaming, Mark.
yeah. It took a bit of doing, getting all that stuff home. Yeah, so thank you very much, Michelle, for lending your trailer. It's been great, just getting that monster home. I call it the monster. Let's call that table the monster.
Yeah.
I should maybe just do a demo video on this table one day. Yeah, it's quite impressive.
Yeah.
And now, what else have we got, Brett? Should I go into the news? What do you think?
Yes, I think we'll go into the news.
Maybe just bring up a few stories here and there, and then we can talk about other things. So let me click over. Okay, so guys, also I should actually just ask if we have got good enough audio happening here, guys, and just making sure everything's running well. Yeah. Now,
Hi,
first
John.
story, of course, is there you go, John. Is the the A7C. And people would have already seen this and heard about this and seen a lot of YouTubes, and I just have to just bring up a few things. Now this is taunted as Sony's smallest full-frame camera.
Yep.
And we've got a 24.2 megapixel, 10 frames per second ISO. In the native ISO is 100 to 51,200, and then I think you can bump it from 50 to 108,000 or somewhere around there.
Something like that, yeah.
So that's not too bad at all. Now there's been a lot of talk about this camera, of course, and I mean, the more I go into it, the tougher the going is going to be. Like, anyone that wants a camera like this with a rangefinder, like with the EVF, with the eyepiece on the left hand side to the side, like the APS-C cameras. I mean, we've got the A6000, A6100, A6300, and then 6500, and the 6600. And we've got the 6400 as well. But it's just one of those things where, if you're progressing through all the APS-C range, and now you're looking at a full frame range, maybe this camera might be the thing for you. Instead of, and if you are already used to that, the settings and the controlling part of it, and you don't want to move over to a full size mirrorless camera, then maybe this could be the camera for you. Obviously, the price is $3,299. Personally speaking, I think that's it's right up there. You know, it's not a cheap camera. But it's up to Sony to work out why that price was regular in that way.
Yeah.
What do you think about this, Brett? Just gonna page through stuff here.
Well, I'm reading through the Sony press release. I've been going through all this, a lot of detail through the release. Look, the more I keep reading the specs and the features and so forth, it's a very well thought out camera. Is it aimed at professionals? No, not really. I still think it's more aimed at the vloggers or general people that are used to using the mobile phone, because you often see people filming themselves with the mobile phone. So, but with this camera, you're going to get better videos, better resolution and stills over the phone. And you still have the features of the A7 audio and mixing and stuff like that. Yeah, pretty good. So, price is a bit, well, I was hoping the price would not be over the A7 III.
That's really the only problem, you know. Like, I mean, the A7 III is really putting a bit of a break on this camera. I mean, the full flippy screen is pretty good on this, you know. But we've still got the old menu. I
well,
don't know what to say about this.
It's really basically the A7. You know, it's between the A7 and the A6000 and the A7S III. Doesn't have the full touchable menu or the menu system or anything like that. So you're really looking at an A7 III, but just cut down on the features of a higher end camera, but compact enough, light enough, and so forth for traveling, vlogging, and all that sort of stuff. As Mark, you see, Mark's got the pictures up there at the moment. And you can see where it sits in line. So, if it's a camera I would buy, maybe not. It'd probably be a camera that my son could use. If he wanted to go up from the A57, which is an SLT camera, look, the picture quality on this is still good as an A7 III, capable in low light and all that sort of stuff. But I mean, it's good for look. It would be handy, you know, if we want to do videos and that and vlogging and stuff, like if we're out doing shooting with our main cameras and stuff. But really, it's targeted at the vloggers and people like that wanting to make that initial step from crop sensors up to the beginning of full frame.
I just don't. I just don't know if I would, if I was a first buyer for a full frame camera, if I would just look at options, obviously, and Sony is basically filling up the all the platforms now with cameras. Like that. Doesn't matter if you want a crop sensor, APS-C camera, or if you want to go full frame and then in between as well. So they're basically giving a lot of people have been screaming out for this. They've been giving people this camera, and don't forget, I mean, there are also, apart from the Australian audience, there's obviously American audience and also Asian audience and European audience, etc. So you got to think about what those people actually want. You know, they want maybe a street shoot camera that they can actually hold down low on the hip area and then shoot with it. The only problem with this camera that I can see more or less is that people with a predominant left eye will have a problem with this camera as it's a rangefinder camera. So your right eye will be covered up by the camera because you are basically holding the camera around there to that eye. So that's one issue. It is what it is. I mean, there's so many YouTubes out on this camera where people are, you know, talking about the ins and the outs about this camera.
That's a hard question, Steve. If the A7 AC can have the updated focus system, why not the A7 III? Yes, that's a very good question. I can't.
Yeah, this has actually got a blue screen on it, Brett. So you can actually have a blue box around it instead of a grey box.
Yeah, I think it was a white box. The white, white focusing box. Yeah, the brackets. I believe that, and you get a blue peaking color as well.
And a blue peaking color.
Yeah, instead of the red, white, yellow. But very good question. I have to say, yeah. Look, I won't go into it too much. I mean, look, every camera's and they're going to have some sort of limitations. What can be updated and that it's not my. I'm not really going to touch base on why not and so forth. Look, I mean, all I ask for the A7 III is the color focusing to be changed, so you don't have that grey color focusing brackets box. In landscape, it just gets lost every time and it gets quite frustrating. And I always said with the A7 III, I would have paid another $1,000 for an EVF like the A7 IX or the R4.
So my playback is not going to work really well because of the actual Skype and the live stream and all that, guys. So don't think that Sony would have put something that judders around.
I'm going to have to be honest here. I mean, everybody knows I use the full frames A7 III. I still have my A7 II. I'm really hanging out to what the A7 IV is going to bring. I'm a bit nervous what the cost is going to be after seeing the price of the A7 C. But yeah, it's just going to be very surprising what they're going to come up with the A7 IV. What's new and what's different. Is it going to be a major upgrade from the A7 III to the 4?
Yeah, I mean it's got its inbuilt stabilization, but it doesn't actually have the gyro information.
No.
Like the A7 III does, S3 and so that information is lacking in this camera. So it's I mean this is entry level full frame camera. You can always go like a A7 II or something like that. Or
this is supposed to be fully weather sealed, more weather sealed than A7 III.
Yeah, the sealing is pretty good on it. I've actually seen that in here somewhere in the but look, I mean, you know, we're not really. There it is on the right hand side there. I've got it. There people will see the actual sealing. So it says sturdy, dust and moisture resistant construction. So whatever that is, that's what it means. And you can also see there the actual plugs, the USB-C and the charge point and HDMI are actually rotated now. They actually
the other
horizontal
way
instead of vertical. Yeah.
And the reason why they did that is when you got the screen facing back out, you can still see you or whatever you're recording when you're vlogging. So yeah, the cables are still there, but they give you room to see the
Oh,
the
so you got
screen.
less blockage when it's actually
Yeah, yeah,
on okay.
yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So, but yes, Steve, yes, this was more of a question directed at Sony. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that Mark Gala will be doing a lot of direct communication to Sony, but
yeah, we
but
just give. I'll just give Mark Ayler a
we leave
call,
it
and
up to you.
then I'll straight after that I'll ring up Sony Japan and sort it all out. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, we're just limited on how we communicate with Sony. I mean, Sony hears us. Sony has always got their ears switched on, and they know what we're talking about, etc. But you know, they're interested in, you know, in for their own reasons, you know, to actually give us what we actually want. But they also, when you can't forget that when they start designing cameras like this, they start designing cameras about from
4
like
years
2
ago.
years ago, or even 4 years ago.
Yep.
They started designing this camera, so it was actually set into action, and this is the result. And I just well, you know, like, again, you know, if you don't want this camera, then this camera is not for you. Then you look for something else, or you wait until maybe one day the A7 IV appears, which, you know, you just don't know when that's going to happen. But yeah, I mean, it's worthwhile having a look at, and waiting
if you
for that.
guys
Maybe.
are really into video, this is the camera that you want to go for, because the IAF tracking is superb. On this, more advanced than the A7 III, because there's no IAF tracking video. But other than that, yeah, that's there'd be more the vantage point, and the obviously the screen, architecturally lighting screen, you can see yourself and all different angles and whatever. And I mean, and if you wanted to add a mic instead of the mic or the what is it, the Z1?
Oh, the digital microphone.
You can use that.
I mean,
like
the hot shoe was set up for that. Yeah, John just said he's surprised that there's no new menu included in this camera, and yeah, and you know, like in general, everyone is a bit.
I can understand that too, because the way I'm seeing is this is really an entry level, and it's really tricky to understand. But the way I'm seeing it, this is really taking over the entry level of the A7.
Totally. Well, anyway, that's all the news we've got. We haven't really got any more information on this camera as such. Is that no, that's probably just the image. I thought the screen was actually a bit sunken in, but that's not the case.
No.
Yeah, Brett, how about we go on to the next story now? It is just, see, because we're not really that tech orientated in this show, and it just that's what makes it really difficult sometimes to even talk about these things. And I mean, you know, if I would really be saying what I'm thinking about this right now, you know. Anyway, let's move on.
I won't even go there.
I digress. So if no one was actually hearing about this keynote, Sony does keynotes, and they bring out their gear towards the end of the year, and there's been the iWatch has been updated, which is actually now Series 6 instead of Series 5. There are some extra gizmos that are inside it, some new software. Now the also the iPad Air, and yeah, all this has been fixed up and updated. Watch SE, I mean, you can get all sorts of whatever color you want, you know, so as long as you can fork out the money, you know, they got the gear for you. And they're also bringing out the Apple One, which is basically a bundle of 6 Apple services in there, and you can look all this up on apple.com. Again, all the website that we talk about are actually in our comment box down below, and you can go and have a look at it and see what is in there. Obviously iOS 14 is now out as well. So there's a lot of things that are pointing towards much more new gear coming out. There is Apple computers and all that is on the horizon.
Mark,
and they've got the new chipset in the iPad as well.
Yep.
So
Mark, have you heard the about the red dot in the phones? Apparently, in the Apple phones, the iPhones and stuff like that. The red dot. Yeah.
What is in there?
Tell
me all about it.
The red dot. It appears. Apparently, when the red dot comes up, well, Lauren's saying yellow dot, but I saw it the red dot. But the red dot is indicating that the phone is listening to you. And that's something that Apple had put in the U phones and that to warn you that your phone is listening. So I don't know if that's true, but
I didn't hear about it. But I'm just I'm so used to using my Apple devices, and because I use when the webcam comes on, there's a light that comes on, like a green light, and it lets you know that it's got the webcam is on. Because I don't use iPhone, I use Android phones at the moment. It's just really
Lauren.
I'm progressing toward.
Agree with Lauren. You don't know who's listening to you 24/7. So we know back in the old days.
Don't assume the microphone is switched off the moment, or the video is switched off the moment you can't see it working. It could be switched on the inside. Like when I had the Samsung Note version 7. That was the fire gate. When these things used to burn down, and there were a fire hazard. And I didn't give it back immediately, and then they started crippling the phone more and more. And eventually they got into my camera. So Samsung got into my camera without even an update, and just crippled the camera down to 60% charge. I could only charge up the phone to 60%.
I remember you telling me that.
It just goes to show you the power that they've got. When they want to make changes on your phone, they can get into your phone and make changes, or run cameras, and God knows whatever else they can do.
Yes, Lauren, you're being watched, because whatever ad you watch, even if you didn't click on it, you paused, come along another ad, and you watched it. Facebook knows what you're looking at, so they'll bring up the ads that you've been following.
Full stop. You are, you being always assessed, even when you're on Facebook, etc. I mean, you look at any ads, or if you go on YouTube and you follow someone or whatever, YouTube works out in the algorithm that you are interested in a certain thing. You're interested in photography or something like that, and then it will just keep on flooding you in with photography gear. It is. Well,
she said she asked for a Pepsi, but somehow a Pepsi ad came up during her conversation with her mum. So But anyhow,
it happens.
We just got to be. I mean, even the technology is getting so advanced and everything, but we just got to watch to see what the techs are doing. So
Big Brother's watching you. You got to be aware of it, So don't say the wrong things, otherwise you'll get taken away and put into Guatemala detention center, and that's the end of you. Just kidding. But
next story.
It is just one of those things. Now the Xperia. Now Sony has actually just released or announced. Now, you can actually buy this phone now. It's the Xperia 5 II. Except, Brett, what can you not do?
we can't use it. We cannot get Sony Xperia, well, any Sony phone here in Australia.
Yep.
It's bizarre. It
So
really
this phone is not going to be available in Australia, and Sony has got no. There is no future talk about actually having a Sony phone here in Australia. They used to sell them here, and they pulled out, and you can't get them. Apparently, this has got amazing.
You could go over and buy it from another state, another country, and have it sent into Australia. But depending on the company, your provider, will they support it? Will they, will you get service to that phone? I'm
exactly.
not quite sure.
And also the other thing is if it breaks and you are here in Australia, where are you going to get it repaired?
That's right.
It's a tricky one.
But it's Mark and I were talking about this the other day. This phone is really compatible with our cameras and the features. 20 bursts, the frame, 20 per second burst rate per frame. The virtually the cinema line of video and so forth.
Yeah, it's an interesting phone. Yeah.
Yeah. This phone can do it all. The IAF and everything, pretty much what our cameras can do. Yeah. And yet we got nothing here in Australia to use our phone to be compatible with our cameras. So
I mean, you got even this has got animal IAF in it. It's quite interesting phone. Yep. But unfortunately, guys, I'm just going to move on because we just can't get the thing here. Write to Sony if you want it and ask them why we don't get it here in Australia. We would love it here in Australia. At least we've got some more options and we don't have to buy a Samsung phone or an iPhone.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about if I move on? I just want to get
before you go. The only thing that we see here in Australia at the moment is Samsung and iPhone.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay, so
Nikon.
DP Review has just brought out this little jab or this talk about the 14 to 24 2.8s and 50mm f1.2 for the Z mount lenses. It looks it's a massive looking lens. I mean, when you look at the front glass on it.
Yep.
But it's having a 50 1.2. This is something that we want from Sony, so but it's just interesting to see that Nikon is finally now coming out with some faster glass. We've been digressing for quite some time with Nikon bringing only f4 glass out, and here they are bringing out some faster glass now, finally. So
finally, yeah.
Finally, hooray! I'm just going to sort of jabber through these. It's probably not going to interest too many people here on this channel, but I just wanted to show this, and so it's got all the ceiling points and everything. And I'm sure it's going to be, look, Nikon is, getting there. They are working on bringing out more and more gear, but they've been lacking behind a fair bit, but they're on the roadmap. They already know what they want and what they're going to bring out, and having a 50 1.2 is interesting, Brett.
Kind of long for a 50mm, really. I expected beefier, more rounded.
It's a very long lens.
Yeah.
It almost looks like our 90. The Sony 90mm macro, so there you can see it like it's minimum aperture is f16, not f22 or anything like that. So,
any prices available?
No, I don't have any prices here, Brett. But again, it's just one of those things where these are not going to be cheap, So that's just the point. so it's not going to be cheap. And if anyone is into Nikon, they'll be
I
eagerly
wouldn't be
waiting
very
for this.
surprised if they are going to be expensive. I mean, you look at the Canon RF glass, really expensive. Really, a bit more expensive than GM glasses, Sony. But yeah.
But so that's that, guys. And if anyone is going down the Nikon path, have a look at this. And because it's always an investment when you buy a camera, and then you buy a camera body, and straight away you need at least one lens, and then you go on to have several lenses, and before you know it, I mean, I don't know, between Brett and I, we've got a considerable amount of lenses that we actually deal with here all the time.
Yep.
Now the other news is that GoPro has brought out a new GoPro, which is version 9. Now this is interesting because it's got a larger front-facing screen as well now. The gyros on this is very good, so the stability on this is great.
Yep.
And there you can see it's got a flip out base, so you can actually mount. So it's already built into the GoPro.
Okay.
And Lawrence, there's plenty more phones out there. That's not a Samsung or phone. iPhone.
Well, there
yes,
is, but I haven't seen them.
It's just not many. I mean, LG has got some, and Huawei is out there as well, but you don't know when they might get blocked from selling their phones. So it's one of those tricky things. So this is actually full-on 5K recordability. So it's just another toy. Apparently you can now take the front. You can take the front lens off and and swap it out and put a different kind of lens on, Brett.
Right.
So that's interesting as well. And it will be coming with some accessories, some add-on accessories like microphones and an external display as well, and a light mod. So this is all just really interesting for people that are into this sort of GoPro stuff, and they want to do some action photos, etc. And it's got I think it's got the ability to straighten out the horizon, so you can put it on auto straightening, and it actually just always keeps the horizon straight.
Okay.
Which is really interesting as well. But again, I mean, it's coming out. I don't know how good it's going to be.
Yeah.
But going by the footages that they're showing here, etc., like it's got all this stuff like time warp and just all this interesting stuff. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, live bursts and all that, and you name it. It is. Like if you're out there to go and get a GoPro, well, there it is. GoPro Hero 9. Go for it, guys.
Go for it.
Okay, and we're coming to the last bit of the news, Brett. This is your news.
Oh yes, there we are. I'll put this link up in the comments as well, guys.
Yeah, that's already up, Brett.
Oh right, okay. Yep. Yes, we now our next photo walk is the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Yoo-hoo. So I know that there's been people.
Steve also said it's got a new sensor on the DJI as well.
Oh right, okay.
So they've really redone the whole GoPro.
Yeah. So yes, we have now next weekend, next Saturday, we are going to be down the Gold Coast, Surfers Paradise. So
so bring your surfboards, guys.
So we're going to be doing obviously another photo walk. No workshops unfortunately at this point of time, but I wish I could add in a workshop first thing in the morning. But so at the moment there's about a limit is 30. There was 10 at first until I was confirmed that we could have 30 people now outdoors.
Yeah,
in the
so it's all
gathering.
fine. Yeah.
So but
Yeah, a lot of people were asking for this for Surface Paradise photo walk, and
Yep.
here it is, guys. I mean, this is going to be a complete game changer. I mean, we're going to be there until sunset at least, you know.
Yep.
So really it's gonna be
we'll
great,
be,
you know, to walk the beaches, etc.
We're going to be walking through the beaches and the CBD of Surface Paradise till the nightlife.
Yep.
So this is a good opportunity to meet up with us at the Gold Coast and mingle with us and talk cameras and
Totally.
pick our brains and so forth, and while in a stunning, beautiful Gold Coast. So,
Steve actually says he's got all his surfboards, but he's too old.
Yeah.
You're never too old.
Yeah.
Or what you do with a surfboard when you're too old? You get a model to hold it and take the pictures of your surfboard.
Yeah.
And John says he'll be there as well, so John is booked in. So guys,
So
you know,
be prepared, you guys, for anything. You know, like the last photo we had in Brisbane, City Streets, and that we had this girl just come out of nowhere, and she said she wants to be a model, and
just approaching us. Yeah, it was really interesting.
So, if you guys are into portraiture, just bring some flashes, speed lights with you, just in case that we might get someone like that. Then we might have a model during the afternoon. Don't know. So,
yeah. So it really depends on the amount of people that are going, etc., and what we're going to be doing. But we're needing out plans, you know. So we're actually working on exactly what we're going to be doing. So it's sounding really interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
John will be there. Notice that straight up, mate. Yeah.
Right,
You're
guys.
the first one that booked, so I noticed. But but look, guys, if you know somebody that's doesn't have to be Sony centric. They want to learn more about photography and whatever. They don't have to be. They can be Nikon. They could be Canon or Pentax, whatever. They're more than welcome to come
drag
along.
them along, you know. Like we're gonna have a hoot.
Yeah, but you just send them to the Sony scene. What Mark's showing, he's got it down. I got it in the comments, the live chat. Mark's got it down below.
Yep.
The live show. Click on that link and and make your booking and so forth. So, and you could be a visitor over from the United States or somewhere else that's in the at the Gold Coast at the same time. You could join. So if you're physically there on the day, you're more than welcome to book up and join us. So
yeah, I mean we can't guarantee the weather, you know. So we've got to be shooting to the conditions. And Steve just said that his daughter used to be a model, fashion model for many years. There you go.
There you go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just going to blend us over again.
That's the news.
Yep. Yeah, so Brett, we are now coming down to the sharp end. I mean, we're flying through the show right now because
we are.
I'm sort of a bit. I had a long day, and I just I can feel that we are going to be hitting the 2-hour mark, and that'll be the show. So we've still got a fair way to go, and there's still a bit of energy in us. We can still punch.
I've got a feeling that we'll go over the 2-hour mark, and we just haven't nailed this yet.
I just don't know yet. I don't know. It's going to hit me hard and between the eyes. Hang on, I'm just setting up something here. And, you right there in a second. Okay. Now,
workshop.
I think we're in for a treat with the photos that are coming up in the review.
Oh, yes, yeah, fantastic. So what I've seen so far, yes, I think we, like Mark said, we're in a good treat.
And
So,
again, guys, we do need to bring up our workshops, obviously, and this is our bread and butter again. And how about if you talk about this, Brett, a little bit?
Okay, well, as you know, that not only that we do Photowalks and that we do workshops from studio to landscapes, macro, virtually anything, cityscapes and stuff like that. And night photography is one of our best ones that's usually included with our Photowalks, but we haven't really had a workshop at night, nightscapes and night photography, but because of the COVID-19, it's really hit us hard, and unfortunately we haven't been able to get around and do workshops and that, because a lot of people just locked up and just staying away, so forth. So, but we'll get back as soon as we can, when things start to open up a bit more and people start to get more relaxed, and happy, feeling good about themselves, being out and about in public, and then we'll start doing some workshops and for you guys. We will do some one-on-ones as well.
Definitely. So hit us up, guys. You know, we're always available for one-on-one workshops. So it's just a matter of just PM us and we can sort something out.
Yeah. And that leading us to the workshops and where you can find us, and Mark will bring up our Facebook
groups. Yeah. So here we are with the Facebook groups, and as you can see, we've got 2 Facebook groups, and most of the people that are in the show right now know all about this. And Brett runs his Sony Alpha Brisbane group, and I run my Photographers Collective group. And together we sort of we try and bring out as much information as we can, and it's got a great following as well, guys. So hook in there and have a good look at it. When there is announcements, they usually show up within the groups, and as Brett said, he's got the Photowalk coming up on Sunday, and if anyone wants to book and is trying to find a link even after the show and they can't find where to link up to, just go into our groups and you'll see it in there. And then there's also the every Sunday, as you can see here, we're doing a live show, and that always usually gets announced, and that's where people can also put their images in for reviewing as well. So and that's going really fairly strong, and we've maybe this is a good segue, Brett, for us to move into the pictures and do a bit of reviewing.
We can do that.
I'll switch over now. So we will do the reviewing, and straight away I'll just blend us out, Brett. And right away you can see here that this is the picture from Steve Wag. And Steve, I love this picture. You know, like I kept on saying to Brett, you know, this is quite a good shot, you know, and how the guy is actually leaning over into a corner is quite interesting. And what do you think, Brett?
Actually good. It's pretty good. That's a good shot. But I didn't know they actually race the dinkies type boats too.
They do all that there on the Yarra River.
Yarra River, right? Okay, actually, I'm just going to pull up in here so I can see a clear screen of it.
Okay, while you're doing that, Brett, I'm just going to say that it's it was again Steve's shot was shot with the A7 Mark III. The focal length on it was 162 mil, which I'm not sure what lens it was 100%, but it was f number is 6.3, exposure time 1/1000th of a second. The program was in manual, so
the focal length is 162, so I'm assuming that's the 70-200.
70 to 100, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure which lenses Steve has got. I know he shoots with the Tamron as well. So I'm not
Oh, right on. Okay,
yeah.
that could be
100,
it.
400. There you go, Brett.
There you go. All right.
Shot with
Well, you
400.
it was a
We
zoom
were
lens,
close.
anyhow.
We were close.
But no, look, mate. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, a bit of sports action here. So, yeah, something a bit out of my league. Yeah, but no, look. I don't know. It's one of those things. Once again, yeah, I love the action in the water come off the back of the boat, and that they're obviously turning, and the guy in the front leaning the boat to go that direction, and helping the boat out a bit. So I don't think there'd be a lot of bloody fins underneath that boat.
Because he's got such a high-powered motor, he's actually leaning over to keep the front of the boat down. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, to be honest with you, I really can't say too much about the shot, but you obviously nailed the exposure and all that. You got him sharp at 6.3. I don't know who you were.
Yeah, f6.3.
Yeah, don't know who you're focusing on, but a bit hard to tell on my end. But it looks very sharp and focused, and that detail in the boat and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing is, and there's not much you can do about it, is that you got audience standing on the bank.
Yeah.
There, and you can just see their feet, which is a bit of a distraction. But yeah, what can you do about it? You know, I mean, you still want to get the water spray.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean,
well, he's got the most important thing. He's showing the action, what's actually happening, and so forth.
Yeah, keep at it, Steve. I mean, the more you do these sort of action shots, the better you get at it, and then you start moving around and looking for better vantage points, etc., and where you can actually get. But look, I mean, the way you got this is pretty good because you actually got the whole dinghy. And you got the guy leaning over and looking into the front.
The other thing,
it could have been opened up a little bit more. Yeah.
Well, he could have been opened a bit more. Yeah, it depends on taste.
A bit more space on the left. That's what I'm talking about.
But right. But one thing, you took the shot right on before we got into the daffodil light and shade. So the boat and the guys are actually in that light before the boat has come in that patch of shade where obviously there's trees and that. So that can be a bit tricky when you get parts of shade and daffodil light. And yeah, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
especially on the actual boat or the guys, whatever. So, but you're seeing everything clearly here. So.
Yeah. Yeah. But because Steve is right on that bridge, I think it doesn't, like they can't go under the bridge or something like that. There's I don't know if you can just see it on the right hand side there, and then they turn around and move back up again. So he's picked this spot because they need to turn.
So, as Steve was saying, the boat sank right in front of him. So did they actually spear the boat into the water, Steve, mate?
Oh, right.
Just before this actually, when you took the shot.
It's all action. I mean, they really push their boats there. It's a proper boat race, you know. So yeah, stuff happens over there.
Yeah, well, you should have showed us the next shot.
Yeah, where's the photo of the boat sinking?
Yeah.
Okay, well done, Steve, and again, thanks for letting us review. But I'm just seeing like just that little bit of extra space, you know, because the guy's looking over the boat and he's looking forward, you know, like I would like to see what he's seeing in a way, you know. I want to see a little bit more, maybe. But apart from that, you know, it's a great shot. And again, it's just sometimes there's just not much you can do about it.
Not that one.
I'll bring up another one from Steve.
Yep.
Okay. So this is another shot of Steve, and this was done with
got there.
Sony again, and the focal length this time is 72mm, f5.6, 1/500th of a second. Doesn't actually tell me. Yeah, it doesn't tell me what camera body it was, but it I would assume it's the A7 III.
No, RX 100.
RX 100.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there it is. The RX 100. So I wasn't looking for that, was I? Yeah. So there you go. So the RX 100 Mark 7. What do you think about this shot, Brett?
I just put it lighten it up a bit, the exposure. Yeah. Now, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, there's plenty of detail on that for a little camera like this, you know. So, yeah, a bit hard. Well, there was obviously in its natural environment. I just would like to see the exposure just up a bit and a bit more detail. Yeah. I know it's a bit hard with these. I mean, these cameras are only small, and that you're not going to get a great big amount of detail like the R4 and so forth. But these still take a pretty good image and photos of things. So. Yeah, I would have just added a bit more to, even if you just kept exposure a bit and then just add a radio filter on over the bear and just lifted the shadows and a bit of highlight and just sort of make it pop it out a bit more in that tree. And maybe put a bit of vignette around and a slight vignette around it. So, but you nailed it pretty much, especially with the highlight in the background. A lot of I've seen a lot of blue chromatic vibrations, which is sometimes when you got that blue sky coming through, that's going to happen a lot. Try to keep an eye on that too. Lightroom does a pretty good job removing it, but I don't think not a great deal. But the more you can remove, that's better in some ways. Yeah,
that's roughly what we're talking about, Steve. Just lighting up the face a little bit, you know, just sort of just bringing a bit more of the actual details of the animal.
Yeah,
but it's also it just looks a bit, you know, because you're shooting up, you know, the koala is actually looking down, so it you know, like if it was an eye level or something like that, it would be great. But it is a picture. Yeah.
So Steve said just had a storm poor thing was wet through, so doesn't even look wet really, does it? Yeah.
Oh, they're going through a hard time, these koalas, you know. I mean, they've been decimated through the fires, and
he doesn't look like a happy chap, this one too. So
he's probably screaming, you know, give me back, stop building houses and give me back my habitat. But then I shouldn't. I'm digressing. Yeah, looks cranky, says Lauren. So well done, Steve. I think we'll just move on to the next picture here.
Thanks for the photo, Steve.
This one. And this picture here. What do you think of it, Brett? I'll just bring up the details of it.
Who was this again, Mark?
This was Maradona Martin.
Oh, right. Yep.
He took this with the 24 f1.4. He took 3 photos, different exposure, and then he merged it all in Photoshop. And the final adjustments in Lightroom, no filter attached on the lens.
Okay. Yeah. I like what he's done with, you know, the brush, the PR, going out in the background, and you got a leading line with the path, but it's sort of leading you away from the pier that way. If the path had stopped and kept going or whatever, it sort of tends to wonder what's around the corner, you know.
See, the composition. There's a problem with the composition here because it's you got the path leading to the left, and you got the pier up ahead that's leading to the right. So it causes confusion for the viewer looking at this picture. That's all.
And the framing of the tree overhead is a bit too much. I probably would have lowered the camera down, and so you got more of the ground in between. So if you shot like 10% with that tree, I can understand you having the trees and they're coming off the left side of the image and branching over, and they're creating a frame, but they're sort of dominating the whole image, really. And I suppose because you could have actually just toned down, darkened of the top part of the frame and let the middle where you're looking straight towards the pier, because that's where the highlight is, and the water, obviously the water. So I would love to see more of the bridge more in the frame and the water, and maybe about 10% of the tree line, so up the top. That's just my opinion. I mean, I can see what he was doing from this and that. So, and it would have been a bit tricky situation because he's got his exposure nailed. He's exposed for the highlights, and obviously we've brought the shadows and that.
I'm just wondering, are you in the show, Maradona? Just put your head up and let us know if you're here. I'm just also just seeing that it's it looks a little bit unnatural just on the tree. The tree, it is. I want to think that there is shade, but there is no shade. It's just been eliminated. So, and yet on the footpath there is shade. So, whereas the dark areas are missing here. So.
And that's why I said just brought in, if the shadows weren't so lifted on the top part of the frame, and that way you darken all that tree down a bit to lead your line down, your eye down to the centre of the frame where the highlight is. So
it's just one of those things, Maradona, where it's just a matter of I know what you were doing. You were this is, I don't know if it's more like maybe an experimental shot to be able to see how you go with maybe the merging images. I'm just not sure.
HDR maybe, to me that 3 different exposures, that's HDR blackening.
I'm just trying to bring down the actual turning, but you can roughly see what I'm doing, just sort of like just bringing down the actual light a bit, but, because I'm just doing this very rough. Just sort of see what I'm just trying to bring a bit more dark, or bring a little bit more black into it, but it's being a JPEG, there's not much I can do here.
Instead of using a grad, I would use more brush and just just lower the.
Or just burn it a bit.
And just lower your shadows and burn it. And that would be a big difference. So you brush over.
That's a good thing about Capture One. I mean, you can just basically you create a layer, an adjustment layer, and then you can use all your sliders and everything on this, which is quite fantastic. Whereby in Lightroom you can't actually do that. I mean, you just can do a bit of dodge and burning, and I don't even think that Capture One actually calls it dodging and burning.
Yeah, they do.
Because you just
same.
I mean, you're
and
layering.
Capture One Lightroom does dodging and burning, but
Yeah.
it's just you just got to think of Lightroom when the more layers you do, the more time Lightroom will start to clog up, and it runs slow. With Capture One, that's not a problem. I think you can only do about 9 layers. I think 9 or 10.
I just don't think that Maradona is in here, but
Right.
I'm just going to move on to the next picture anyway.
Yep. Anyhow, thanks for that
blend us out.
photo.
Now this shot here, Lauren, where are you?
Right.
Okay, this was shot by Lauren Houston.
Yeah.
1/100th of a second f8 ISO 400. Okay, so that's Melbourne. Yeah, a shot from the Yarra River at dusk, facing east. A7R3, 24 to 105 at 24 mil, and it's a 5-image panorama. So it's stitched together.
This is
5
awesome.
images.
Yeah. Usually, blue sky is not my typical thing. Clouds, yes, the clouds were there, but as we all know, that's the nature of landscape or cityscape because we're at the mercy of the weather.
Yep.
But although I think it actually works out quite well because the water's almost perfectly smooth. Pretty obviously a bit of wind. If the wind had not been evident at all, she would have had crystal clear reflections. That would have been like glass.
Nice shot, Lauren. I like this as well. Yeah.
But the one thing I do like about it, because the reflection in the river, it's giving you almost a perfect impression in reverse, upside down of the landscape above it. So, but that blue highlight, I'm looking at as well too, because I don't know if you darken it down below and then you got this sort of dark and then it goes into light and then into the details of the reflections of the building. So I do like that part, and I do like the overall composition.
I like how she that light, that lamp on the side there. It balances out the cityscape. Without that, you would be having a stark imbalance, and there will be too much space between the building and the trees. You know, that space over the river, above in the sky. I like this. It's pretty well done. Pretty well controlled as well. I like this picture. It's pretty good. And just the idea that there's just no people around. You know, it's just, you know, it looks like a dead zone almost. You know, it's like there's just no one around. Without COVID, you wouldn't actually get this shot. I mean, there'll be a lot of people there around that time.
I like it.
Well
I mean,
done,
doesn't have to their cityscapes don't always have to contain people. But yes, it's showing definitely the quiet signs of Melbourne. Most definitely. I don't know how busy this place would be.
This will be crowdy. There will be a lot of people there this time of day. You would have about the same amount, if not more people, like what we would have in South Bank here in Brisbane. On a normal day. So I mean, it's just it's a saving grace, as what Lauren said. You know, that you actually got I mean, the images that you can get right now, you know, once it all opens up again and starts up again, you're not going to get this again. You know, so sometimes it's good to capture it, but it's still a bit depressing. You know, like, I mean, seeing a city that's dead.
And I like the idea at the time that you shot it too, because you're getting that sort of golden reflection of the buildings and that. And this is the optimal time, right between the sunset and the blue hour, and it's usually the best time to shoot the cityscapes, because when you get that transition from the blue hour from the sunset, even though the sunset is really gone past that point. But you get an extra. I always find you always get an extra detail out of these sort of shots between this transition between the blue hour and the sunset. So if you're after a lot of detail in cityscapes, which Lauren knows by my style, I love the details in all of these sort of scenes, and they're done pretty well.
Yeah, I'm just sort of like I'm just fixing up a little bit of a keystone here because of that light. I'm just straightening that out a little bit, but that's the only issue with this picture, Lauren. You did good. Yeah, loving it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But again, you know, I mean, when I make adjustments on the keystone, or I make adjustments on brightness of a picture, that's when I do the adjustment, that's my taste.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily need to be your taste, and you can just keep at it. I'm just giving suggestions. That's all. But you don't have to follow them at all. You know, like it's a great picture. I mean, I love all the colors in it. You know, you got the train station there. That's what is it called? Flinders Street train station, I think.
Okay. Yep.
So you got all that, and on the left hand side. And
Lauren, were these vertically shot in panorama, or were they horizontal? So yeah. I have to say the 24 105, excellent lens. That one, it's really ideal for shoots like this, so forth as well. So
just keep on shooting stealthy, Lauren. You don't want your camera taken away, or you're having to pay a hefty fine or anything like that. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, she said
vertically.
Yep. Yeah, that's how I would do it too. Shoot vertically and then do it 5 shots or whatever. Yeah. Thanks for that image.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Good shot.
I know she's got some more too.
Okay. Yep. Let's bring up this one. So this is obviously another one of Lauren's, and this shot was done in. Okay, so different technique. 6 seconds, f11. ISO 100, escape bridge, dusk with the sunset sky behind me, A7R3, 24-105 at 24 mil.
Yep.
Can I just ask you, Lauren, why have you got a 24-105 if you're always shooting at 24 mil? I mean, it's I'm just joking, but you're doing a lot of landscape shooting, so maybe a prime. Have a look at a prime. You know, Brett is always happy to help you out and sort something out with Sony.
Are you trying to sell her stuff right now?
I'm you know, like I'm not an advert. I don't get a kickback, Brett. You owe me.
Yeah,
but I don't get a kickback from Brett or anything like that. But it's it's just interesting that I always see the you're a 24 mil shooter. Have a look at your metadata on your in Lightroom and just see what you're shooting at mainly. Yeah.
Well, obviously,
there you go. Like she wants to have the ability to zoom in if she needs to.
Yeah. And
there's nothing wrong with it.
Nah. Yeah, I mean, look, it depends. It really depends. The majority of lenses like 16-35. You know what people, and some people don't even actually have a 16-35. They only have a 24. You know, 105, and you know, so forth. So 24, it's ample enough for landscapes and majority of photography. You don't always have to stretch it at 16 mil or 14 mil or anything like that, but yeah. But no, look, this one, I do like the tonage.
Yeah, I'm just going to blend us out here so everyone can see the picture properly. Yep.
The tonage in the blue out. So, and as she said, the sunset was behind her. So
I mean, the interesting thing, I mean, she's got blue hour, but she's also got the cityscape is all still lit up.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. But by this time, it looks like the sunset has actually gone down and it's coming into the blue hour. And
Yeah.
during this point of time, well, all the lights start to light up, really.
Well, I just feel that Lauren is upping her ante. You know, she's using COVID
Yep.
in a good way. I mean, to actually really up her artistic ability. It's really good.
And she's
See, the thing is, Lauren, what Brett and I are seeing, you know, Brett sees it as much as I do. You got leading lines leading into the center of the image. You got the power lines, you got the bridge, you got the boardwalk here. Everything is leading to the center point, you know, and it creates power in this image.
Yeah. Bit hard to notice that the what do you call those lights? The red light in the middle. I mean that doesn't. Yeah. A warning light to the boats, whatever it is. But,
yeah, exactly.
I
don't exactly know what they call it.
Yeah. I don't.
Positioning lights.
I think that she's positioned that pretty well because it's sort of in line with the bridge foundation there. So it's sort of like hiding there, but it's not sort of being too distracted and that. So I mean, it's got a bit, and it's the only red in the whole scene. So it could have been.
I just don't know if you would have moved over more to the, if it was possible for you to move over more to the left, and then get that sort of like that red pillar of the light.
Yep.
In the water, getting it right more to the end of the bridge.
Yep.
But it's just one of those things where you can always go back and maybe have another go at it if it's possible. And yeah, there's sort of like, but I like the leading lines going into it, and I'm sort of like, I'm still seeing stuff that I didn't see before. You know, like the Australian flag on the Westgate Bridge. You know, and it's just really interesting. You know, you see the City of Lights on the right hand side. You know, so it's dancing along really well with the cityscape, you know, like the cityscape goes up and down, and then you've got lights on the right hand side that are actually going up and down as well, and it's sort of like it's balancing out everything. I quite like it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no drama in the sky, that's the only thing, but
Only thing I do not like about is the power lines, but they don't really stand out too much to be interfere. I have a funny thing with power lines, and especially in landscapes, they're usually in the wrong place.
There you go, channel markers. That's what John said. They're called channel markers. Thanks, John.
Channel marker. Yep.
Goes to show us how much of boating we know.
But look, the tonal range between the from the top part of the frame and the middle and then to the bottom. I'm loving how the center, right through the center of the image, you've got that bit of a highlight, a bit bright.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the lights. I'm talking about obviously that the blue hour is coming darker up the top, but it's still a bit light in the center. So you get this tonal range of blue and greys, and I mean, power lines are just one of those things where you either embrace them or you, like what Lauren just said. You know, like I mean, it's you know, I mean, Melbourne is riddled with power lines like that. So you can't really do too much about it, unfortunately. But no, I like in that image, and you've done a real good job.
Yeah,
I was just thinking, you know, it's because it's got the red light, the channel marker. You could probably do another shot that you actually feature that more in the shot, because it's the only thing that's standing out red besides blue and green. Yeah. So you have to think about that. You might come something. Yeah.
I mean, the more often you go to a place, you know, the more compositions you find, and the more you improve it. I mean, you take the picture back home, and then look at it and thinking, oh, what if I was doing this or doing that, and then you go back to it. I mean, you can always go back here many times, I assume, Lauren, and take the shot again in a different angle. It doesn't have to be exactly the same looking. It can be totally different, and maybe low down. Now get your camera low down to the water, or who knows? It's just all these experimental things that you can go through. I'm doing that currently with another place here, you know, where I go shooting a fair bit, and I'm always trying to find another angle, another difference. Okay, so let's bring up another picture, and well done, Lauren. Love it. Yeah, I love the picture. And
just remember, Lauren, like you just said, everything doesn't have to be long exposure and that. So sometimes you need to do some of those short exposures and get more how it actually is. You know, it's just a different perspective. But yeah. Okay, next shot.
Yeah, and here is another shot of Maradona Martin again.
Okay.
And he's captured this bird in the rain. You might not be able to see all the streak marks there, Brett, but you can see the actual water lines. And the picture was taken 2 weeks ago, he says, in the rain at Botanic Garden with the 200-600 at 900mm Super 35 crop, f6.3, ISO 2000, 1/1000th of a second.
Yep.
The bird was really active even in the rain, he says.
Oh, they usually does really wagtails. They're always have to rain or not.
Yeah, they're great target practice. You can always, good to practice your muscle memory and shoot these birds. Even, when they don't sit very long, they start moving very fast again. But it's the picture is very sharp, and I think I would say there was some sharpening used here, Brett. I just feel that the ridge of the rock is just a little bit over sharpened, and it just looks too pristine, too perfect on the edges. What do you think?
I think it's really good. I mean, I can even see drops of rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Adds a bit more atmosphere. I was just thinking maybe a CPL would have been really good in this shot too, because I'm just wondering if it would have brought out more colour in the rock. It would add more green to it in the background. So which is in this case it's more yellow than green, but
look,
I suppose
I guess I'm liking it because the bird is facing to the right, and there's plenty of space to give the bird. The green in this instance, Brett, is a nice background, and you don't have to change that to any other color. You can leave it green.
I was going to say that you like this one.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty nice. The aspect of the bird. I mean, you're showing off every bit of the bird, as it is.
Very detailed.
It's just. I mean, my hang up is just that little bit of over sharpening on the rock, and you can easily fix that by isolating the bird and actually just sharpening on the bird instead of on the overall picture, and it just doing selective adjustments when it comes to that. Well, that's we've got no other issues with it. It's a great picture.
I'm just thinking with if they use the CPO, maybe you could knock the sheen off the top of the rock a bit.
Knock the sheen off.
Yeah, and just give it more structure, maybe, because the sheen just sort of gloss that, I suppose, detail but it's funny though, I'm just sort of trying to figure it out a bit too, because if you're looking to highlight behind the bird, it's obviously quite bright and everything, and one color, and then suddenly you got this bird sitting on the edge on top of this rock, and then suddenly it's looking white, because of the sheen, and then it goes in dark. So yes, yeah, I'm just trying to figure this one out, but yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
it's very
just a
hard to
bit
make
too
any
much.
adjustments
Yeah,
on a
probably
JPEG
just
image.
too much white in the sheen on the top of the rock. Yeah, it's something that I would experiment as these sort of shots. Nothing wrong with it or anything like that. It's just, I suppose, in what we're trying to do, we're just trying to look in another way to how,
Yeah,
I
how to
mean,
further improve it.
yeah, I mean. I always say to everybody that you know, the brightest part of the image, the person's eye is always going to go into that area first. This one doesn't sort of take my eye off the bird. It's sort of directly underneath the bird. So it's not really sort of leading your eye somewhere else. In somewhere, yeah. So, but no, look. You've got to take the shots, and if you don't take the shot, you don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
If,
again, you know,
yeah,
like, I mean, you got to have good reflexes for shooting birds like this, because they'll be there for like
split
2-3
second.
seconds. I mean, you gotta just get on with it and get the shot done.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 200-600 is just stellar. You can actually just take images like this all day long. But well done, Maradona.
Yeah.
And yeah, just keep on at it and keep on improving. I mean, you're doing well. It's looking good. And now we just move on to the yeah. This is the
Last image.
last image that we've got, and
John.
and this is John Gatsby's image.
Yep.
And it was taken at oh god, am I going to get this right? Mugera Dam. Yesterday evening, not the sunset I was hoping for, but with a little editing, I think a reasonable result. A7R4 with Tamron 17-28, ISO 100, f16, 17mm and 13 seconds. A 6-stop ND and 3-stop soft grad is used on this.
Right, going all in it with the ND filters.
Yeah, I mean, you really were taking your time getting this image done.
Yeah.
Switch that off.
Yeah, where was I? Just seeing.
Okay, I'll bring us back in. I think people are missing us.
Yep.
Well done, John.
Yeah. Really good.
I'm just soaking the picture in a little bit because I didn't really get a chance prior to this to actually really have a good look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So moody, 6-stop. Yeah. Trying to.
Yeah, this is your genre, Brett.
Well, it's obviously achieved the silky water. I don't know how much water movement there was on the day. It was choppy or not, or windy. I'm guessing it would have been because there's a lot of cloud in the background and all that and so forth. I just feel there's a bit of balance where you got this this log is sticking out of the water, and part of the rock of the foreground actually sort of leads to that comes out the rocks, 2 stones that's in front of there, and then you got the log that's sticking out. Then you got another stump or something on the right hand side. It's just bit out further. Yeah, I think what you were saying is, yeah, the highlights, and suddenly you've got this sort of I don't know, what is the log or something out in the body of water is sticking out in the reflection of the highlight of the sky. So I think what he's trying to do is he was trying to get a balanced scene of the foreground and the background. But on some loss with the background, you don't see much of the horizon in the background of the mountains and that. So I was just sort of wondering if sometimes I try to feel, is a wide shot going to be good in this image? Do I shoot wide? I think sometimes in my mind, I think, would I shoot like something like maybe 50 mil and try and reduce this wider look, and then let the a shorter focal length bring the mountains further into the frame. Sort of get a balance that way, because when you shoot out wide, you do lose your mountains and they get smaller and smaller, where your foreground looks a bit, So
I just don't know if so there's a few tricks that I've learned over a bit of time with Brett and others shooting landscape, and what I've seen a photographer doing, and I'm not saying you should do it or it makes a big difference, but wet the rocks. We sometimes just get, like, use a bottle of water or something like that, and we just pour water over the rocks, and we actually make these rocks wet, so you'll actually get a bit more
darker.
You can get them a bit darker, and just it's you're not altering it as such. I mean, you're not really interfering with nature or anything like that. You're just pouring a bit of water on it, and you're not moving rocks around or anything like that. So we're just making them wet, and it might actually make the picture a bit of a. It creates a bit of a stronger frame and a lead in. But that's just my two bob.
But were these rocks actually white, John? I'm just sort of trying to.
It's hard to tell if they were just sort of like, if they would be wet, chalky. Would they actually go? Yeah, like they're chalky maybe. Yeah. It's really hard to tell.
There's several ways you could have gone with this. You could have done vertical, maybe with that log sitting there and diagonal towards the sun, where in the light, more of that diagonal going from left to the right, and that line.
Okay, so John said they were covered in light-coloured mud. Yeah, I don't know if the water. So maybe the water would have darkened it. I mean, I've taken images of waterfalls and all that, and just there was like a log maybe poking out, and like it was partially wet, and then the rest of it wasn't wet. Like it just there was rainfall and it had stopped, and the log was starting to dry, and I just put a bit more water onto it actually just to get that color out of the log. And it's called cheating by some people when you do landscape photography, but if you can do it, why not? So
unless he had brought a bucket with him, because there's a lot of rock that's wet, in this particular shot.
Yeah,
but
where's that canyon where you got all these red, the red stone and all that, where people actually walk into over in America, and they actually. I mean, the Indians actually use shovels, and they shovel up the dust, so you actually get this, this hazy look inside these caves. And so, I mean, I don't know. I mean, no one ever really talks about it, but there are ways to manipulate a picture, but it's not really seen as manipulation. It is what it is, Like, I mean, I guess if you got actors and you're paying for the actors to actually do a stage show for you, and then you're taking pictures, a lot of people want like that. So it's just I mean, this conversation can go on for a very long time.
John, I can understand what you're saying, that you couldn't go further left. And you were at a camera club. Okay. I mean. Look, I always sort of try to picture the situation that you might be in, and trying to get a feel if there's any other possible way that you could have gotten some different angles and that. So I just feel it's an lovely shot. I love the soft lighting, smooth water.
Yeah.
I just feel that the water or the mountains were just sort of, because it's a wide shot, the mountains are just so pushed back so far back into to the. I know it's obviously.
What lens was this shot with, John? By the way,
20.
I'm just wondering about the compression.
I think it was the Tamron 2028.
Yeah, maybe you need a like a bit more compressing lens.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
It's got more.
Yeah, the 1728. Sorry. Yep. Yeah.
I'm just trying to recrop the image, if you don't mind, John. It's your image, mate, but I'm sorry that I'm doing this, but I just wanted to see what this image would look like a bit more in a different crop. Maybe a bit like that.
I think that would be better.
You know, so because I mean, we're sacrificing a bit of that dead area and the actual mountain peak there, but I'm just sort of like I'm a bit more fixated with the light. You know, the actual the sunburst and all that. You know, all the highlight there. And I just thought I'd just just look at it before and after.
But you can see when he cropped that out. See how the background now has sort of moved forward into the image.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm trying to make that larger as well by actually cropping. You will actually enlarge whatever's in the background, and it's just one of those things where you know, artistically where we're standing. You know, like I mean, I did the crop, and maybe that looks more pleasing for some people, and for others it won't. And maybe that mountain range might be important for you to actually have in there. And I've just cropped out this mountain, right? So it's not, you know, like, I mean, I don't know how important that part is, but sometimes isolating stuff is good. A little is often more than.
And that's why I sort of suggested if he was shooting with a 50mm or 70mm, you know, and just did what that you did then, cropped and had that in the way it was shot at 50 or 60, and that would have brought the mountains back more into the frame as they appeared more larger. Just got to always remember that there's sometimes where wide shots are really unnecessary, but you just got to understand with shooting out wide, the further your backdrop is, in this case where the mountains are far away over across the water, so they're just going to get pushed more back into the back of the image, and they're going to look very small. I
mean,
so
in comparison to when you're talking about the world, I mean, when you talk about the Alps and other mountainous ranges, and then you look at Australian ranges, unfortunately here in Queensland, we don't really have that much height, you know, like, I mean, in mountain ranges. So see, it's always a problem to actually make our mountains tall, look a lot bigger in images.
But no, John, enjoyable image. I like seeing your work.
This was sunset, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Sunset.
I would have added a bit more magenta. I'm not really quite sure if you saw any magenta in that sunset or whatever, but it looked like there was a bit of magenta in the between sunset and the blue hour, or whatever you want to call it. But other than that, look, it's just so many different ways you could have shot that image. In situations like that, I see something that does attractive, and I'm really not quite sure how I'm going to shoot it. And I will try several different shots frame it differently, crop it differently, or change another lens, and then when you get back home, you got all of those images to choose from and see what looks better.
I mean,
in that way.
I mean, look, I mean, John has already got his bird photography filed out.
Yeah.
And I think he's sort of swapping it over to landscape now. He's hunting after landscape and trying to better himself. And it's a matter of just again, it's a bit like Lauren, you know, where you go back again and you reshoot. I mean, you look at your image and you're going, well, you know, I could have done this and I could have done that. But every time you go to these sort of places and you look at them, they look different every evening because of the cloud mass and the drama in the sky, etc., and how much ripple you have in the water. So that's and the atmospheric contamination that you've actually got there, because you've actually got the blue in the background, which is normal here in Australia. You always get that blue atmospheric haze in the mountains, but sometimes you get such a clear light on them, you know. I mean, you just got to get lucky when you go when you get these pictures. I don't know what this would look like at sunrise, because at sunrise you would actually have light hitting onto the mountains,
the peaks,
onto the peaks. And you might even be luckier, John, if you go one morning, you know, at sunrise. If you can get there, at sunrise, I don't know.
Yeah,
but maybe
obviously that morning there was a lot of clouds. You could see, you know, even when that sun came up, by the looks of it, I mean, there's so much cloud all around. But I don't think there was no chance getting any light peaking on those views or anything. So. But like Mark said, if you get light peaking, you go there another day and you get light peaking, kissing the tops of the peaks and then of light, and that is a bonus. Like even getting the cloud, but sometimes there's no cloud, and then there's just too much cloud, and you just got to be lucky to.
John is actually saying that he actually started landscape before he started doing the birding stuff.
Yeah.
Interesting. It would be a good sunrise location. It's, you know, usually a lot of photographers, they go to a sunset and then they shoot the sunset. You know, there's the sun dropping, and I've done it many times, but always look over your shoulder and see what's happening behind you as well. If you got something that's actually of interest in the background behind you. A lot of people never turn around and look what's happening behind them. And you can actually see amazing stuff happening there with the light hitting whatever.
Yeah, there you go. Lauren said to do it in the winter. I get a sunset, the Milky Way, and the sun in one.
Get the trifecta.
See, look, everybody. Me being a landscape photographer, and that I'm always after the hero shot, and you know the perfect lighting and scene and everything. To get all those elements in one hit that's pretty rare.
Art form.
But
that's why you go often back to a place until you get it. I mean, obviously there are apps for your phone that you can get, or you can get download that will actually tell you what the weather forecast for that day is going to be, and where the sun is going. Like what have you got? Photo pills and all that sort of stuff. Everyone knows about these apps, and it's good, worthwhile, maybe having a look at them and testing them, and really utilizing those sort of as a landscape photographer. You would want to utilize that.
And especially where John said it was his first time there, so you know, and those were the apps.
At the first time, you try and get it all in, like you want this ground picture, you want a picture of everything, because that's what you want to get, you know. And then the more often you go, trust me, John, the more often you go to these sort of places, the same place over and over again, the more you start creating isolation. and you get to see more and more detail, and you just want to capture that part of detail. But look, I mean, just keep on filing on it. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Well shot, John. It's we're not faltering your technique or anything like that. It's just I mean, it's just the cropping, but that's that's normal that you crop in an image. But sometimes it's also just worthwhile just doing it. Just crop it just for trying out sake, and just see what it looks like.
I'm loving this still because it's very calming. It's pleasing to look at. Soft lighting. Get soft lighting like that. That's really, that was a bonus. If this shot didn't have that glow and the softness and then the warmth in that corner, it would have been a totally different shot. So But,
so John,
well done.
Well done again. I mean, thank you very much for everyone that's been loyal to us and and putting the picture on the market, for us to slice them open and really get into the deep of it. But I'm just hoping that everyone is getting something out of us. I mean, we're even getting something out of us as well, because we're seeing stuff in your images that we want to maybe incorporate into our images as well. Don't get us wrong. But we love seeing images, and we love talking about it, obviously.
Yeah.
So I think we're
killing the show, mate.
We killed it.
Yeah,
we killed it. We got there very, very fast.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to switch us over.
Yep.
And guys, we are done. This has been another great show, and we've done it in record time, Brett. We're not even on 9 o'clock. So
Well, Mark was supposed to go with the constant lighting, but it's up to you if you want to do it or not. But
I think I'm going to leave it for another for another show. I want to do a little bit more about that. Where I can actually maybe work a way of how I can actually demonstrate it and all that. Because me just showing let me pick this up. This is a beast. Me picking up just a light, and this is a constant LED Godox light, and this is what the. Am I get this? It's probably a little bit too bright, this light. There you go. So you can actually just see what this thing will pump out. Now this LED is fairly noisy. It's actually a noisy fan. It's got a noisy fan in it, and people know about these. But nevertheless, it does certain things really well, and certain things not so well. So I will be talking about that. There'll be a different show. Yeah.
So in other words, you'll do a bit more of a breakdown of it.
I'll do a bigger breakdown on LEDs. I mean, not just this, but also other LEDs. Even this light box that I've got here, that's run by LED light. It's not actually anything else. That's another discussion altogether in another show. I think that's going to take a lot longer.
Yes, Steve. We all don't stop learning. That's for
Absolutely,
sure.
Steve.
It doesn't matter what.
There's so much in photography. Just when you think you know it, one genre, like you jump over to another genre, or you, someone else shows you something that you haven't tried out before, and you go, oh, here we go, I've got to start all over again. We're all learning. Yeah, absolutely. So, Brett, I hope you're going to have a nice week, and I hope everyone else here is going to have a nice week as well. And I think we may not next weekend. We're going to give it a spell. We're not going to have a live show, so we're going to have a break, and we'll come right back the following week then. And in the meantime, guys, it's goodbye from me. And it's
goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from all of us. And may your week be a good week. And all the best, guys. And
good night.
we're doing the
Take
outro
care.
now. So, bye, guys.